And of course, the very first day of free agency, Dylan Cease is giving us a last chance opportunity. This sucks. So let's do it. Let's see what we've got here. What does Dylan Cease want to do with his future? He is not coming back. Wow, he's going to the Braves. All right, well, if there is one thing I know, it's that we have to sign Gallen. I mean, he is staying here. I'm probably going to move him to priority 1, actually, because losing Cease, if we can get back a similar caliber pitcher for a similar amount of money that I was prepared to pay, I think that moves into what would be our highest priority then of the offseason. I guess we could also offer to Framber, and even if it's not to the same extent, try and get that highly rated 1-2 punch, because Framber is an 87. So that is still a pretty high rating. I'm just not like blown away by his attributes. The stamina is really nice, but all those per nines are just kind of, you know, decent. And you know what? I guess one thing I did kind of forget about also until just now is I did actually want to make it a point to get another high caliber right-handed relief pitcher that I'd feel comfortable using, because last year it was kind of Clay Holmes and that was it. So like when we got to the postseason, if I used Holmes and he wasn't at full energy, then I really didn't have another right-handed option that I was like super comfortable using. So getting a Devin Williams or a Helsley, I'd probably lean towards Williams. That might also be something worth looking into. You know what? I do think that'll be the next thing I go for here. We still need now one more starter, that 5th starter. Still need to sort out our catcher situation, but I'm content waiting on that, really. But I think Devin Williams is a signing that I want to make sure we get, because if we can add Williams to what our bullpen already is, and then between Crochet and Scott and then Holmes and Williams, we'd have 4 80+ overall highly dependable arms out there. That would be huge. So we'll just go ahead and advance another week then. We only had that one spot to fill. There's nothing else I can do. So let's see what we got. Let's see what happens. I just had to rub the Dustin May signing in my face. I guess that happened literally on that day. So we missed him by hours. And then continuing on, nothing else is happening until Framber signs with the Rangers. Okay. I wasn't like super set and enthused by the idea of going after Framber, but I was kind of hoping that option would still be there for that one more starting pitcher I'm looking to sign, but it won't be, and JT's gone, so that limits what we can do at catcher a little bit. And now we're ready to go, and Williams wasn't all that interested in us. Gallen gets up to the point where we can offer him a contract. We still need that 55% for the guaranteed offer. I don't even see that guaranteed thing here, so maybe they got rid of it or something and I just didn't know. But there's really no point in offering a contract yet to Gallen, just because we learned last year. I tried it out for the first time, and if you offer to somebody early, it's not just a matter of them saying no, it forces them to sign with a different team right then and there. So you get one shot and that's it. So I guess that actually kind of means we have to move on another week, because I don't want to move Williams off the list, and we can only offer to Gallen, but I don't want to offer to him yet. So we'll keep going. We'll keep simming and see what happens. Will Smith signs with the division rival Royals. He wasn't really on my mind for what we were going to do about catcher, but again, that limits our catcher options now. Not too many signings happening. Maybe I need to check this thing, because a lot of these seem to be happening without me knowing. And there's Kopech and Mike Soroka. So the 12th ranked free agent isn't good enough to get their signing popping up on that screen. And I didn't even realize who Kopech signed with, but Kopech signed with the Cubs. Ooh, and look at how little he signed for, 2.7 mil. I don't remember seeing Kopech on the list, but now I'm doubting that I actually scrolled through to the bottom, so maybe I just missed him. But if we could have brought him back in for that cheap, I definitely would have explored that. He might have just not shown up on the top 100 prospect list. I think I called it prospect, I meant free agent. But if he didn't, that would be kind of bad, because he's an 82 overall at 29 years old. Like, what is this game thinking if he's not appearing on the top 100? But not only is Soroka appearing, but he was ranked 12th? I don't know. All I do know is this offseason is not going according to plan. And when we look at Gallen, okay, the guaranteed does now show up. That would cost us $40.2 million a year for 8 years, though, at this point, to do that. We can finally offer to Vlad, though, so we can at least get a sense of what he's looking for. He's asking for 8 years, $27.6 million a year. We could bump that all the way up to 10, which again, that is very realistic for somebody going into their age 27 season, and completely maxing everything out only gets us up to 2/3 interested total. So I think we got to hold off on him too. And then we can't do anything about Williams yet, but I don't want him to all of a sudden sign with somebody else and I don't get a say in it the 1 week I take him off. But I'm starting to feel a little pressure now to not miss out on other options. But I'm sitting here with my board filled up, just trying to fill up these interest meters, and I'm kind of risking losing out on other positions I might need. But you know what I'm actually going to do, because Williams needs 5% to offer him a contract, and I might just offer him a contract as soon as he gets to 50. So I'm going to move him up to 2, and then that way Vlad only needs 4% for the guaranteed. So he'll get exactly what he needs. Williams will get exactly what he needs. So that's how we'll go into the next week. And still, these signings are just not showing up here. Not a single one showed up, but I guarantee signings happened. I mean, I guess only what, 3 happened, but these are all pretty, I mean, Cortez was up there amongst the higher ranked free agents. So was Eflin. I don't remember about Lane Thomas, but he's an 87 overall. Why is he not showing up? He signed a 5-year deal. All right, well, we can offer to Devin Williams now, and I kind of just want to do that and get it out of the way. I mean, as much as it'd be awesome to get him, I don't think it's like necessary to like make sure we lock him up. It's just kind of a thing I want to do. So if we make a coin flip offer and he doesn't accept it, then whatever. I don't want to wait too long into the off season before we start offering to other people and filling other holes. So what do I want to offer Williams? You know what? I'll offer him those 5 years, because that would only take him up through his age 35 season, which he still should be pretty good through that point, right? So you know what? Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and do this. We have the money to throw around. It's not like going up to 7.59 is much higher than the base 6.9 that we could offer him, and it gives us an extra 13%. So let's do it. Let's offer him 5 years, 7.59 mil a year for 63% interest in signing with us. It's a little bit better odds than a coin flip. So let's see if we can do it. We seem to be the relief pitcher whisperers, signing up all these guys. And do we get another one? We don't. He just goes back to the Brewers. That's boring, Devin. Switch it up. 0 for 2 on signing people so far. This might be the roughest offseason I've ever had. Like, already. I'm not just saying by the end of it. I'm saying this already might be the roughest offseason. I don't know, man. I guess at this point I should focus on just making sure we plug all the holes we have. So we know we need a catcher. So I'm going to make sure that we can start learning about Mejia, build up that interest, because I think we need to get him. I do think the more I think about this move fits, because we have Edgar Caro. We have Connie Kang, our #1 draft pick from year 1, right behind Caro. So like far enough down the line, our catcher position is probably secure. We just need that bridge to get there, and Mejia for multiple seasons is probably that perfect bridge. And I don't know, maybe instead of signing like a Garver or somebody else like that, I can just hopefully maybe rely on the CPU to sign some random like 71 overall veteran to a 1-year deal. Also, I guess before I advance, I didn't look at this, but I'm curious what it takes to guarantee Vlad comes back. 10 years, 34.5 is actually not that ridiculous to sign Vlad. Like, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. A $345 million contract for 10 years. I mean, we're going to keep going. I'm not going to offer that to him yet, even if it is tempting to open up one more slot where we could add other people, but we'll just move on. We'll advance, go forward another week, and hope that nothing big happens that would affect us. Well, there goes Ryan Helsley, kind of resigned to not getting that other high caliber right-handed reliever. And I didn't even get an extra week to consider it. And Ranger Suarez is gone. That would have been another intriguing option as an extra starter. And now Mitch Garver is gone. So there goes that option. It is Mejia or nobody now. Mejia is actually very interested. He opens up 67% interested in signing with us. And I still feel like I'm kind of stuck, not really able to do anything. Like Gallen, we have to make sure we get him. And Vlad, I would be fine giving him the contract that the guaranteed offer would give him. It's just you only get one of these per offseason. So if I use it on Vlad now, we couldn't use it on Gallen if we need to get him. And like I just said, I feel like we need to get Gallen. And then also we kind of need to get Mejia because we need that catcher. And even though the chances are good, I don't know if I want to take the risk. Even if I, bump it all the way up, it's still not quite full. So I guess we do just move on another week then and see what happens. I don't know. I was going to say I almost want somebody to force my hand to do something, but I also don't want that to come with the risk of not getting somebody that I want here. Ooh, and Aaron, see that? That's the exact reason why I wanted to start getting things done, is because Aaron Savali was actually up near the top of my list for that one more starter spot that we'll need, assuming we get Gallen. Savali would have been a good fit, and we didn't have the chance to do that, and that's a shame. So here we are to the next week, and okay, this threw me off for a second because I thought this was a last chance opportunity, but no, it's Chad Green reaching out to me begging for a contract. He's 71% interested. He's a 76 overall. The ratings are actually like pretty solid. He's a little old, even though his ratings kind of got better. Man, he also did have a 191 ERA though. So I'm going to say not interested for now, but I'm guessing I could probably go back and offer him something. Man, and I don't know. We're past the halfway point here. If I don't do anything, we're going to lose out on a lot of other opportunities to do other things. I feel like I have to start doing something. So I'm just going to offer a deal to Mejia. And I don't know. I kind of wanted to only offer him 3 years. I don't really care about the money. We can bump that up all the way. Do I want to give him an extra year just for 3% more interest, or does 78 seem like enough to get it done? I might just give him that extra year just to bring that interest up over 80%. Make sure we have him. And then I guess also if our catcher prospects don't pan out, we have an extra year of Mejia. So we'll go ahead. We'll put this offer together. Hopefully we finally get a guy. We do get him. Okay, we don't get the whole animation that I went through with the other 2 attempts, but we finally make a signing. It took us into week 7 of this offseason and 2 failed attempts, but we finally signed somebody. And Mejia's not bad. Mejia's not bad at all. And kind of like I said to start this whole thing off, we have so much firepower on our team that we don't necessarily need firepower at every single position. We can get a guy like Mejia who might not be lighting up the scoreboard, but he can still come through in situations. He can still put up solid numbers, and his numbers will probably improve from where they were because of who was around him. So yeah, you know what? Looking at these 2 options for catcher that are still there, I think I'm pretty content on making Mejia the only one that I sign. So that'll either mean that our backup catcher is just going to be Edgar Caro, which would kind of be a shame for him to get called up to only be a backup with where he is. But the other option that I'm hoping at least happens is the CPU signs one more catcher, some veteran, low 70 overall type guy to just be the backup. Maybe even bring Max Stassi back. I'd be totally fine with that. And here's a guy that's kind of catching my eye for that final starter role is Brandon Woodruff. I feel like this would not be a bad signing at all. He's 33, so he's not like old yet. Definitely not young, but he is an 82 overall. He didn't regress last season. The -2 to the stamina is a little worrying, but still 82 stamina is good. But he's got a 5-pitch mix. He's had decent seasons, not anything crazy, but this season is pretty comparable to what Aaron Savali did last year. And I was just saying how Savali would have been at or near the top of my list to go after, and Woodruff doesn't cost much. I mean, 6.7 mil a year for 4 years, bump it down to 3 maybe, give him a bit extra money. That's not a bad move at all. I'm actually kind of getting excited for this. And is it just me, or is his head on that picture way too small? All right, so let's move on to the next week then with a Woodruff on our list. See if anything. Oh, and of course. I mean, at least we put him on when we did, so this would actually pop up. But really, we gotta deal with this immediately. I mean, what is tempting is since his base interest was 59, we could give him the guaranteed, which like a 6-year, $8.2 million deal, that's not ridiculous. I know it's gonna get pretty bad near the end of it with his age, but 8.2 mil a year is not crazy. The only thing is then this just means we wouldn't have this if we still need it for Vlad or Gallen, which we're getting to the point where we almost wouldn't. But you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. We can't get unlucky 3 times, right? We lost the coin flip for Cease. We had almost 2/3 interest on Williams and lost him. It can't happen a 3rd time, right? It is simply math on our side at this point that Woodruff has to accept. It's just a matter of, do I want this extra extra year, that 4th year would be his age 36 season. Would he still be any good? I mean, also, if you think about it, even if he's not any good and he's in the minor leagues, it's only $7 million, a little over $7 million we'd be paying him, and we've been paying Eric Fetty $7.5 to pitch in AAA. So yeah, I guess that few extra percent is worth it for that 4th year. 72% to get Woodruff. We have to get it. The math is simply on our side here. Brandon Woodruff is coming to the south side, and that's that, right? There it is. I'm actually really excited about that. I enjoy using Brandon Woodruff in this game in general, so I think that'll be a fun addition. I think he'll be really solid. Bo Bichette finally signs, and he's going over to the West Coast to play in San Fran, and then Jack Flaherty goes to San Diego. I considered him when I was looking at Woodruff, but his 2 years in the March to October have not been good, so I figure if he doesn't sim well, I don't really want him. Who else signs here? Hunter Harvey goes to the Mets. Cabrera to the Rockies. Are we finally actually seeing these signings go through on this screen? I like it. All right, and here we go. On to the next week. Wilmer Flores coming to us now, begging for a contract. Wow, I would not have thought his hitting was that good. And he just hit .313 with 33 home runs last season. Where did this come from? Look at him, and he was improving for the most part at 33 years old. Why am I considering this? I shouldn't be considering this, right? You know, since I know we have a spot open just for now, I'm gonna add him to the targeted list. But what sorts of possibilities does that open up? Because he can play all over the infield, and honestly, at second base, that's not bad fielding because the arm doesn't matter as much at second. The 14 speed might hurt. I don't know. That's interesting. I just don't know if that's exactly what we need. I feel like if we need a backup anything, it would be outfield, which now that I think of it, I haven't even really looked at that, which I don't know. Now that I come across Austin Hayes here, my first reaction was he kind of just looks like a righty Benintendi, at least hitting wise, but nothing says we have to keep Benintendi as our starting left fielder. I mean, I know he's been really good for us, but he's still only what, a 76 overall with not great fielding. Austin Hayes would be a pretty big fielding upgrade, and the hitting's probably a little better. It's very similar. Yeah, I don't know, man. All of a sudden I'm kind of interested in Austin Hayes. I mean, he's only 30, B potential. He'll probably stay at an 80 plus for a while, and he's had a couple nice seasons. Benintendi-like seasons. I mean, I should have imagined that if his attributes were similar, his numbers would probably be similar to what Benintendi's done for us, although these are probably a little bit better. His slugging percentage is a little higher. Well, before I make any decisions, we have gotten to the point now where we can basically guarantee 100% that we both get Gallen and Vlad, because Gallen, just by what we can offer him, we can bump it all the way up to 100% interested. That's the same thing as being guaranteed. Like if it's at 100%, he's going to accept it, which then that means we could use the guaranteed on Vlad. So like we can't quite get him there with what we can do, but we can just use this on him because we won't need to use it for Gallen anymore. And the reason I say that is I almost kind of want to just go ahead and lock up Vlad, because I'm all of a sudden really interested in this Austin Hayes idea. And then I do still think I'd like to get one more relief pitcher, and Jordan Romano stands out to me as being the guy that I would want to go after. It's not like he's great or anything. He does only have a C potential, so he probably wouldn't stay up at an 80 overall, and if he does, he would only stay at that 80. But he's got pretty solid attributes. He hasn't been like great in the 2 years of the March to October. I don't know though. It's kind of either him or I just rely on the CPU calling up the right relievers that we have in our system, or I guess more likely the CPU just auto signs whatever 2 random veterans anyway. So I guess signing Romano would mean they only have to sign 1 random veteran. Well, actually, this is a thing I kind of forgot about, kind of game the system a bit here, but right when you add somebody on here, even though we don't know the interest, we can offer to Romano and see his interest that way, because he's up over 50%. He's at 61%, so that's why we can offer him a contract. When I tried this with Hayes, it was still locked, so that means we start with under 50% interest from Hayes. But what I'm thinking of is I could just offer the deal to Romano now, because he's not a guy that I feel like I need to have. He'd just kind of be a nice addition, a nice extra arm to secure. So I'm thinking maybe I offer him the max money, the minimum years, and that gets him at 68%, and we'll just see if he takes this offer right away. And if he does, cool. If he doesn't, it's kind of whatever. But then we can take care of him and add Austin Hayes and then not have to overpay on Vlad just yet. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna see if Romano signs with this deal, and he doesn't. We lose one to the Padres. Okay, I really kind of felt good about that. Well, that's a shame. Well, luck is not falling my way in this free agent period. All right, but we'll see what kind of interest Hayes has, and we'll sim to the next week here. And at the very least, we'll continue getting interest with Vlad and Gallon, so we don't have to pay him as much. What did I offer Romano? Because he signed with the Padres for a year. I don't think it let me get quite up to 4 million, but it was still 3 years for just under 4 million. I don't know, man. That kind of seems like my offer was better. And Rysel signs with Colorado, so that's another reliever option that we can't get. Although I don't really think I would have signed Rysel. A couple more relievers signed there. Braves have made some moves, man. They are definitely gearing up for the rematch. Oh my god, and Nick Senzel. I mean, the Sox just kind of randomly signed him in real life, but I didn't really like the move in real life. I don't know if I like this move in fake life either, although he's really good against lefties. 92 contact, 75 power. Actually, this might not be bad. I'm gonna add him to that targeting list, because now that I think about it, oh, never mind, I can't add him. Okay, because yeah, it was full already, so I could just offer him right now. You know what, I'm kind of coming around on this. I might offer him a deal. I think I might knock the years all the way down though, but again, it's not really that big of a deal to bump the money all the way up. So 3 years, 462 a year for 79% interested. Let's see. I actually don't feel bad about this at all. I never would have thought, and he is here. Okay, I never would have been going through the free agents and stopped on Nick Senzel thinking that'd be a smart signing, but the more I thought about it, the more it actually made sense. And you know what, I think I'm kind of good to just ride through the rest of this offseason with these 3 on the list, because the only thing that I would have left to fill a spot for would be a relief pitcher or 2, and I'm kind of just good letting the CPU take care of that. And that's pretty much it then for the offseason. We're just going to advance until we either have to make an offer on one of these guys or they fill out to 100%. So let's just keep going here. Let's keep simming. And Gallon is officially at 100%. I actually probably should have noticed that, because I think he was at 96. I could have just put him down here, gotten Hayes and Vlad a bit more interest, but that's fine, whatever. But yeah, if Gallon's at 100%, there is no reason to wait around anymore, because he can't get over 100%. But what this should mean is, since I kind of wanted to give him 7 years anyway, I can bump that up to 7 and bump this down. I guess I can only bump it down 1, but we can save a couple $100,000. I think we'll just go ahead and do this one. Make sure it's 100%. Give him 7 years. Give him 32 million a year. That'd be a $224.5 million contract over 7 years. So this, until we get Vlad, is going to be the most expensive contract in White Sox history by about 150 million. But that record is literally only going to last until we sign Vlad. But here he is. To replace Dylan Cease as our ace, we get Zach Gallen. It is a slight downgrade, but at least we get somebody back that fills that same role. We don't have a gap at the top of our rotation. We spent about the same money that we were prepared to spend for Cease to get about the same caliber player that should be a solid pivot. And now it's just Hayes and Vlad that we have left. And I think I'm actually going to flip them around just because we need more interest from Hayes. Ooh, and actually, now that we don't have to worry about pitcher, I could change this. But there's our rotation. Gallen, Eder, Schuster, Montgomery, Woodruff. That looked solid on paper. It's just the question marks of if Schuster and Eder are actually going to be able to perform. And then now we just got to work on locking up Hayes and Vlad in the final, what, 2 weeks? And we simmed through a clean week there without anybody signing. Vlad's just about there, but going this one final week would get him up to that full 100%. And if I do plan on offering him 10 years, I would be able to save some money by offering him those 2 extra years and then bumping this down. That would equal out. So I will do that. I'm always kind of afraid, even though every single time I do this and I'm like, we do get 1 more week, right? But we do. All right, but anyway, we'll advance this one final week. Make sure we lock up Vlad. Make sure we put our best offer we can for Hayes, and then Vlad, we can go ahead and sign. Give him those 10 years. I am totally fine giving a 27-year-old a 10-year deal, and we can save like $500,000 keeping it at 100%. So there we go, a 10-year $270 million contract for Vlad. Still not going to have a $300 million guy, even though I was prepared to offer that to Vlad if we needed to, but we don't seem to need to. We at least get one of the two guys back that I wanted to get back. I had to make sure I got one. That was in my head. I wanted to. I made peace with only getting one. We couldn't get zero, so at least we got one. And like I said earlier, we got Gallon, who is a sufficient replacement to what Dylan Cease gave us. So what started out as such a bad offseason actually turned around to be pretty solid, and it's going to be even better if we can manage to lock up Austin Hayes right at the end here. We could use the guaranteed on him. I don't know if I want to sign him for 7 years though, so I might just roll the dice and hope it goes in my favor, even though that hasn't been working out too great for me. So I think I'll keep it at the 5 years, but I'll bump up the salary to the max, because when you compare it to Benintendi, we're paying Benintendi 15 mil a year, so paying Hayes 9.35, still probably a good signing. Just got to make sure we get lucky. 92%. You have to imagine this is about as close to a lock as it gets, but it's not guaranteed. But we do get him. Okay. I was worried the offseason had one more trick left up its sleeve. But yeah, this Hayes signing was not something I expected to want to do at all. It just kind of fell into my lap. And I guess that ends the offseason here. So all we have left to do is to simulate the rest of it. Can't do anything from here on out. I would kind of like to see if they were going to make any change. If they want to keep that first part of the offseason where you can only sign the top 100 free agents, maybe have like a second phase where at the end here then it opens it up to everybody and I could sign the worst guys if I wanted to. The Dodgers got Flores though, and I remember looking at him thinking he was pretty solid. Brendan Rodgers goes to KC, Suarez, Goldschmidt, Max Muncy. Yeah, okay, so this is just the day that all these signings happen at the end, I guess. We're also coming up on seeing December 33rd, right? Where is it? There's December 33rd, 2026, my favorite day of the year. Ooh, and we get a full 5-star offseason. Interesting. We did have a pretty good offseason. We are seeing one auto signing there though. CPU signed Tim Meza for the bullpen, and we can probably see the rest of them here, right? If we scroll over to us. So there, okay, there they are. They didn't sign a catcher, which I am a little skeptical about. Didn't really want Edgar Caro to be our backup catcher. All right, but that's it then for the offseason. We advance. We see our first game of the season against KC. I have been sitting here for 2.5 hours doing this offseason. I did not think it was going to take that long, so I don't know. This could just be the end of a very long offseason episode or the end of part 2. But regardless of which one it is, I always like to see your input. Let me know what you think of my moves, what I should have done, what I could have done better. And obviously, as always, make sure you hit the like button for me if you enjoyed this episode. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already and you're excited about what year 3 has in store. We're gonna get to see, I'm assuming, Zach Gallen here right away because we're only in the top of the 6th on opening day. But until then, thank you guys for watching another one today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time.